The Open Society and Its Enemies, Volume 2 by Karl Popper was published in 1945 and is a continuation of his critique on oracular philosophy and historicism. Karl Popper, an advocate of critical rationalism, traces in his book the origins of totalitarianism in the further development of historicist and idealistic theories of Plato in the works of Aristotle, Hegel, and Marx. While Plato believed in a pessimistic historicism, so the constant degeneration of society from its ideal form, Aristotle would adopt the theory but subvert it into an optimistic historicism. So things do not degenerate, but in the course of history, things do develop and unfold into what they really are. Things are not ideal in the beginning, but in their historical progress, they become what they were destined to be. According to Aristotle, one of the causes of any movement or change is the final cause, or the end towards which the movement aims. Insofar as it is an aim or a desired end, the final cause is also good. The form or essence of anything developing is identical with the purpose or end or final state towards which it develops. Now, Popper pays not much attention to the Stoic and Scholastic philosophies which would follow then, labeling them as uncriticizable due to their utter nonsense, especially referring to scholastic mysticism in the Middle Ages. For him, the next one in line of the succession of oracular historicist philosophy is Hegel. Hegel, who developed the theory of historical progress in a dialectic movement, claimed that things were moving from a former state to an opposition and then to a synthesis of both. In the eyes of Popper, Hegel is nothing more than a charlatan, mystifying, contradicting theories with nonsensical language. In Hegel's decorated but hollow philosophy lays only the far-fetched interpretation of his dogmatic followers. Hegel's confusion and debasement of reason is partly necessary as a means to this end, partly a more accidental but very natural expression of his own state of mind. And the whole story of Hegel would indeed not be worth relating were it not for its more sinister consequences, which show how easily a clown may be a maker of history. Hegel's philosophy is hence nothing more than a ridiculous attempt to predict the future, yet keeping it vague enough to not be exposed. Popper bases most of his arguments on Schopenhauer's polemics on Hegel, especially the view that Hegel was a puppet of the Prussian state is used by Popper to criticize how Hegel institutionalized and tamed philosophy in the service of a monarchy trying to restore an absolute claim to power. Hegel's radical collectivism depends as much on Plato as it depends on Frederick William III, King of Prussia, in the critical period during and after the French Revolution. Their doctrine is that the state is everything, and the individual nothing, for it owes everything to the state, its physical as well as its spiritual existence. The reason why people turned to Hegel was their need to supplement religious desires of mysticism, which they found in the works of Hegel according to Popper. Hegel should be hence rather remembered for the disastrous consequences which would unfold through his philosophy that would influence a young man called Karl Marx.